So real quick, for those of you who are watching this video later, we're going to record this.
Oh,
yeah.
Great. DVD, we should record the next one.
No, I'm just cheating. People want to know, we're shooting this first time we've ever done it. This is a blending of technology and technical aspects of an open house. This is our first time teaching together. We're trying to integrate. Brandy's teaching because she did 29 closings in her first year, 20 came from open houses. She visited over 60 open houses. So if you didn't capture that, now you got it. She's pretty technical on this. You gave us the name of somebody that they could research and Community Connect.
Chris Suarez.
How do we spell that?
Suarez, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Chris Suarez, you go out and look at his stuff. So let's go through this. How do you identify a home that you're actually going to do? Yeah.
If I don't.
What is that chart that you have there? Show us that chart.
So this gets into door knocking, and I'll show you if that comes up.
That's awesome. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Comes up later. Okay. My number one tip on doing open houses, it's real important, is to plan ahead. Look at your schedule. Know what you're doing month to month. You'll get yourself caught if you don't. So look and see. Well, I can't do an open house next Sunday because that's my son's birthday party. It's real easy to let a weekend slide by and say, I just don't feel like doing one this weekend. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh shoot, I can't do one the next weekend either because of this. And then the weekend after that, I've got this. So plan ahead, look at your schedule, and make sure that you are blocking time for your open houses. Make relationships with other agents. There are always agents that have listings that need help open. So talk to other agents, whether it's your sponsor, your friends with them, whoever it is, ask. You're looking for anything in between $100,000 and $250,000 really in the market right now. You want a neighborhood. Don't get me wrong, some houses on land are going to have really good turnouts for open houses, but you want a neighborhood ideally, just for the door knocking purposes. Usually, with some of this, it's going to have you want to pick out an open house earlier than what I suggest, but there are always, you can do it this way, you can do it my way, it just doesn't matter. If you've made a relationship with an agent, reach out to them on Monday and say, hey, what new listings do you have coming Wednesday or Thursday or Friday in this price range? Can I hold it open? If they don't have anything coming, then Monday you're looking for open houses. Again, you want a new listing or a really good price drop. You want it in a neighborhood. You want it to be door knockable. Days on market are important. You're going to put up your signs Wednesday or Thursday. That way, people driving to and from work have 3 or 4 days to see that sign up and know that that's where they need to be. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Friendstone.
Yes.
The podcast with Blake.
Yeah.
And he was talking about putting signs up too early because people that drive over every day kind of zone out on them. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to hear your take on that, if you thought, because I know I've seen signs like it was up Sunday, they're having another one the next Sunday, they just leave it there. And I think that can get where people won't pay attention anymore.
Right.
But I kind of agree with you that Thursday is not too early.
No, I don't think
But not too
Thursday
late.
is too early at all. I think Wednesday night, like Wednesday before the 5 o'clock traffic, or Thursday morning. You just want to make sure because, some people take off Fridays or, you want to make sure that they're at least seeing that sign a couple times.
Can I chime in?
Yes.
So one of the reasons that I like to put the signs out is I've got my name on the signs.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more times they drive by, the more likely it is that they might see my name and just for whatever reason remember it. And I started with my open houses keeping track of where the traffic was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that less than 5% is actually coming from the sign.
Right, absolutely.
Almost all of them is coming from another source. So I think the signs are more giving them directions when they're already looking for it and seeing your name. I think they're important. And so the longer it can be up, the better, in my opinion.
And some people, as far as directionals go, in general, never take directionals down.
Right.
They're like, I'm not, that's free advertising.
Exactly.
Man, don't, he's never taken a directional down.
Well, yeah, name on them, yeah. I mean, ones that just say open house Saturday, one before, like.
I do find that people are looking at Zillow and say, they're in my open house, and they go, oh, there's another open house close by, so I think they're using that. I do have,
Our app doesn't do that anymore.
I use a horrible flag that says open, and it's really tall,
Yeah.
and I stick it in the ground, and I usually try to stick it where people can really see it. That's where people are stopping, seeing my flag.
Yeah, we've had.
I have had somebody say, I saw your flag.
Just make sure with the amount of signs, so a lot of people ask me how many signs should I put out? There are agents in our office who go above and beyond, and that's fantastic, fine. That's great. I don't do that personally. I think that as long as you have a sign at every turn from major roads. So if you're in the middle of two major roads, put one over here on this major road, one over here on this major road, and then every turn to get there. But, I mean, more power to you. I just, door knocking. Door knocking is probably one of the most important aspects of your activities around this group when it comes to leadership. The reason we do open houses, and this is what I learned from Chris Flores, no one had ever told me this before. The reason we do open houses is to get listings. We do not do open houses for any other reason. Buyers are low-hanging fruit that come in and you're gonna pick them. The reason we do them is to get listings. And the way you do that is when you door knock the neighborhood and actually have conversations with people. My goal is 20. Some people will go ahead and leave flyers on houses that they don't talk to. I don't do that, but that's, I mean, go ahead. I will door knock until I speak with 20 people in that neighborhood and then personally invite them to the open house. I don't know how many times I've been invited inside people's homes. Again, I do understand, and I know that a couple of you have heard me say this before, I know I have an advantage over other people when it comes to door knocking. I get that because I am small. I am not scary looking, you know, and I'm female.
Why are you looking at me when you said that? I am small, I am not scary looking.
And I'm female, and that makes me less,
Typical sales person coming to the door.
and I'm not a threat. Right, I'm not a threat. And so when you knock on the door, you want to have something to say to them to let their guard down. Because once they see that I'm not a threat, mean person, then you have to get past that next boundary of what does she want? So when I'm walking up to a house, I'm looking at something that I can compliment. Whether it's a concrete bunny, a sign that has their name on it, beautiful flowers, whatever it is, it's something that I can compliment them on, just break that ice and start that conversation. And it's always something like this. I've got my flyers and I always have cards in my pocket as well. And hi, how are you today? I promise I'm not here to sell you anything. It's the first thing I say. I promise I'm not here to sell you anything. By the way, where did you get that concrete bunny out front? Because that is the cutest thing that I have seen, and I would love to buy my grandma or my mom or whoever. My sister loves bunnies. She would love that. Whatever it is. Just break that ice, and then you're gonna say, look, I'm holding the house open down the street from 2 to 4 on Sunday. I would love for you guys to come see it. Tell me what you think. I always get there 30 minutes early, so if you don't want to see anybody else, just come knock on the door. I'll let you in and we can talk about it. You know, just whatever the conversation is. I can tell you that I have a script, but I don't, because each conversation is different. I'm not going door to door saying the exact same things to every single person. It's the same guideline, but every conversation is different because everyone's different.
What day do you door knock? First Sunday or Saturday?
This is, again, another thing about looking ahead.
Yeah.
I don't want to be door knocking today. Anytime between Wednesday and Saturday. Look at the weather. What day is the best? Typically, if it's during the weekday, I like to start at 5 o'clock. It's hard in the winter because it gets dark at 5:30. So you kind of have to move that back and just hope that you're gonna catch people at 4:30. Saturdays, I go in anywhere in between 11 and 4. People are typically home during those times. Kids are taking naps, whatever. There's people home to talk to. But yeah, look ahead, look at the weather, because I've let that catch me before, where I'm like, I'll do knock on Thursday. I mean, I enjoy it. I love door knocking, but it's still, you know, you gotta go do it. So I'm like, I'll do it Thursday, and then Thursday it's pouring down rain or whatever, and then you're stuck because you can make appointments for Friday and Saturday or whatever. So look ahead, time block. Make sure you do that on Monday.
How long do you find it typically takes to get 20 people home and have this conversation?
Usually it takes like an hour and a half. I mean, depends on the neighborhood. Pick a good neighborhood. You know, that's all about choosing your open house correctly. I always feel like when I do these classes, other agents are going to hate me because then they can't get people to do open house.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But you're going to.
So when you say you're picking it, I've heard it's got to have a neighborhood, days on market, price point, maybe price improvement. What's the give me an idea of what's the ideal price point in range?
150.
150, which is why she chose that. For those who don't know, is why. That's our average price point, and the average price point in Springfield is 150. So what does that do? That gives you the biggest market of buyers and sellers. There's more homes that are within that range than any other price point. So you're not in a small market. Some people make the mistake of what? I'm gonna hold that 750 in a big house. Guess what?
Hey, I did that too when I did it too.
Yeah, what'd you find?
Never got any leads on this episode.
There you go.
Most
They're
of the
all
people have
free
agents.
experts. They all know everything.
That's
You
right.
can't tell anybody anything.
When somebody's going, and this is, okay, not to say that it doesn't happen, but when you're looking at a $750,000 house, you've got friends. And your friends are, you've got a friend that's an agent, or your friend has a friend who's an agent, whatever. Not to say that you cannot get leads that way, but it's harder. When you're looking at 150 or below, really like 175 or below, that's kind of in your first to second time home buying experience. Where you're going to, and this isn't necessarily going to help raise your price point per se, but it's gonna increase your units. And my goal has always been units. It's never been price point or how, like, the amount I can sell. It's how many units can I do? How many people can I help? So from 175 and down, you're helping first-time home buyers or second time, right? First-time home buyers, they don't know what they're doing. They need help. They need you. I think that's my main thing is I like it when I can really help someone. They need me. Also, those are the most loyal clients you will ever have. They will refer you and refer you and refer you and refer you.
Yep.
Take care of them. Customer service. They need to trust you and love you. And once they do that, you'll get all kinds of business from them. So, door knocking, we went over how many, when, what to pass out. Okay, guys, I tell everybody, I still to this day don't spend any money on my open houses. Now that may change with some command stuff. I want to look into it and some options there, but I print off the MLS sheet. I take a black marker and I put open house 2 to 4 and the date. And I go make 20 copies in black and white. It's free. That's what I hand out.
On the back.
Hmm?
On the back or the front?
On the front.
Just at the bottom.
Yeah, just at the bottom where there's space there. You can make fancy flyers and that's great. I'm not technically.
I can show you how to do that here in a minute.
Right.
There's a couple quick ways you can do it. But I want to speak to direct mail because there is a component and there's a very fast and simple way to do a direct mail in command. However, I want you to understand something. We're not the U.S. Postal Service. We have no control over when those land. So unless you know probably 2 weeks ahead of time that that's going to happen, I wouldn't do direct mail. Plus direct mail, let's go back to money. It's going to cost you $1 a door that you hit. So if you want to hit 100 doors, it's going to cost you $100. Rainey, how much money do you spend on your open houses?
0.
Okay, so my point to you is that don't spend money on things unless they give you a return. So I wouldn't do direct mail because A, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get there. I can show you how to do it. It's really cool. Super cool tool for an open house. I would do direct mail for farming. I would do it for advertised listings and get more listings. I would do it too, for those two reasons. I think it's super, that's why they didn't build it for open houses. But there's people who talk about it doing it. I'd stay away from that based on listings.
I say 0. I do spend a minimal amount on my open houses just because of cookies and
Yeah.
original upfront costs of signs
Yes.
and flags and
Yes.
stuff like that. But advertising it, I spend 0.
Is cookies, is that something that you feel is important? I can say I've never done that, it's maybe something I'm missing out on, but I don't know. I never cared, I don't eat a cookie when I go in there.
I used to, but I always brought them home. Nobody will eat it.
Yeah, I
So I'm like,
Well, I take it,
rice and stuff.
I take it a step further. I actually, unless the homeowner says no, which hasn't happened yet, I would have permission, but I bake the cookies in their oven.
I've done that a couple times. I'm just not that.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Well, I can tell you that all my cookies get eaten. I always tell my kids that they can have the leftovers, but there's never leftovers.
I mean, really, that's what I mean, I've got a husband and 2 kids at home. I buy a dozen cookies. I used to buy 2 dozen and then was always bringing some home. I buy a dozen cookies now, whatever doesn't get eaten, trust me, it's taken care of.
We have those pre-baked, you break them off, they're $2.50 for 24 at
Yeah.
Walmart. I just take one of them for 10 go.
Look professional. You don't have to be dressed in a 3-piece suit. I mean, you can wear jeans, just look professional. Wear a name tag that helps give a little bit of authenticity to, you're not just some random stranger showing up at their door. Before you do that, I should have mentioned this before. Before you do that, you're gonna run a CMA on the neighborhood and you're gonna be aware of what houses are actively listed under contract and have recently closed. Also, preview the house that you're holding open. If it's not your listing and you don't know what it looks like, go look at it. There's nothing more embarrassing than door knocking someone's house and they say, oh, you're holding Mary's house open down there. Now, did she get that carpet removed and put that hardwood in like she said she was going to? I never saw a truck over there. And you're like, don't know. know what you're holding open, okay? Or when they say, well, but so-and-so's house down the street sold for 200 just a couple weeks ago. And actually, it's a little less than that. It was on the market for 200, but just know you don't have to remember everything. You can take notes with you. I've done that before. I don't have the best memory because I'm old. Just things out of
I've been using the RPR,
yeah, that app.
I need
Which
to tell where
one?
you're seeing
RPR.
RPR. When you're coming an open house, tells you where you are, and then it shows you all the houses that are listed, new listed, sold, even the open houses that are around there.
Yeah,
So it's excellent.
it's not a bad resource. I don't use it a ton just because I'm methodical in what I do. And I like to.
No, just you have it here, and then
Um,
just open it wherever you are, it tells you all the houses that are right here, see?
So if you use that for what reason? For,
To know what is it for sale right now, and then newly listed, sold recently, distressed properties and open houses.
so, okay.
So just wherever you
See,
are,
at an open house, I used to use our old app, I could pull up nearby houses.
right?
You can't do that now, it's changed. With the new app, you can't do that. Because I used to, if we were showing houses even, I'd be able to say, and they'd say, well, what else is available around here? I
I've
thought
done the
that
same
out,
thing.
easy, but I can't do that.
I've done the same thing.
But that was
driving
handy.
through neighborhoods.
Yes, that was handy too, you can park in front of a house, pull it up, move right there.
Right.
And see what was in a radius around you. Our RPR is good for that now, I use it instead because I can't use ours.
Yeah, it gives you a 5 mile.
Doesn't give you, what does that give you?
Is it not a location?
No.
I don't know about it.
Mine does.
The old one used to have a button where you could say nearby homes
Yeah.
for sale.
Yeah.
And it would go from
It
top to
automatically
bottom.
came up.
Mine shows where we're at here.
Yeah, it's just, it's big, it's different, like, the other one you.
It's not as user friendly.
Yeah.
As the
It's a little harder to find things. It's a bigger area.
So here's what I would do real quick, just to show you. I would pull this up, zoom into where you want, click draw just that area. And then that'll show you, then you click on list. There you go.
You got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can,
You
I
have to,
I think where she's coming from, it
Yeah.
works, the last one.
yeah,
You hit what, yeah.
yeah, I've been playing with it, and I shouldn't say you can't do it, it's just,
It's different.
Yeah, it's different, right.
Yep.
We'll get used to it.
Also, when you go preview the house that you're gonna hold open, you might even try to do it when the owners are home. I have learned a lot of things, from going to preview when the owners are there, like, what is there about your house that people may not know? What do you love about your house? I did an open house once where it had privacy fence all the way on both sides, but the back was open. It wasn't privacy fence, it was chain link, which I thought was a little odd. But then when I asked them what they love about their house, they're like, well, we sit out on our patio, or deck, I can't remember what it was. Every morning we drink our coffee and the deer are always in that field behind us. So we never wanted that to be fenced off because we can watch the deer and the turkey back there, you know? And those are just little things that you could say during the open house to make it more personal.
When you talk about preview, like, what do you mean by that?
So let's say you're gonna do one of my open houses. You've never been in it, you have no idea what it's like. So you need to set an appointment with me and say, hey, can I go by that house I'm gonna hold open on Thursday and look at it before I door knock? So you're gonna go in the house, look around, so you're familiar with what the house looks like and what it's about. Okay?
Be ready to listen to everything that they won't tell you. Don't cut them off. Let them talk, even though a lot of it's not important.
Right. Look at the disclosures of the house. These are all things that you should be doing before you door knock, okay? For the actual open house, any other questions about door knocking? It's really about having conversations and getting people in the door. And nothing kills me more than when I see somebody on our internal Facebook page and they're like, oh, it's a horrible open house. All I had were neighbors. No, it's the best open houses. Those are your opportunities to get listings in that neighborhood. You want the neighbors there, okay?
Right.
And here's why, I want to expand on that. This is so good she just said that. Guess what those people are doing?
Checking you out.
Comparing.
They're comparing.
I'm thinking about moving.
They're checking you out. They don't know that Adam Grady has the listing and Brandy's holding it open. It's all Keller Williams to them.
Right.
So in their mind, Brandy's Keller Williams. They're coming to check her out. If they like her, who have they met? Brandy. So who's going to get the listing for their home? Brandy's, not Adam. But Adam isn't mad. Adam doesn't care. Adam wants to sell that home.
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
He wants to sell that home.
Yeah.
So does everybody understand the power in that? It's every person you get a chance to impress, you get a chance to connect with, is a future possibility of either referral or they may have a friend, which she's going to tell you about in a little bit.
Yeah. The day of the open house, I always time block, and this sounds excessive, but guys, it's important. I time block 6 hours for an open house. So if you're doing an open house from 2 to 4, from 12 to 2 is your preparation. Again, if you're, if I don't do things in a certain way, I forget. So I'm very methodical about the way I do things. I like to come into the office and I print everything out, and I print out the basic little CMA and any active listings or pending listings or whatever around, so I can remember, so I have those handy. I'm always at the house at least 30 minutes early, always. I put out flags. If you put out the flags before, they get stolen. So I'll put out flags at each major, where I want people to see it. And then the 2 hours afterwards, so you're there from 2 to 4, 2 hours afterwards, do not schedule anything in those 2 hours. That's your most important 2 hours of the entire open house, because your whole idea is to get an appointment during that open house. Usually that needs to happen right then. Whether it's a listing appointment and you need to go over and take a look at their house, it needs to be right after that open house. Be the first person to get in. Whether it's buyers that didn't really like this house, but there's another house down the street that might work for them that isn't held open today, call and get them in. Get that appointment, meet them over there. Do keep that. Now, if you have a major appointment in that open house with that 2 hours, you still can work. You're gonna call people back. You're gonna do your follow-up. Don't do your follow-up Monday morning, do it that night. Call them, text them, whatever, thank them for coming to the open house. Try to continue that relationship that you've made with them and set an appointment on the phone that night. We kind of talked about cookies when it's summer, when it's super, super hot, I bring little bottled waters. People will take those more than they take the cookies. You got your sign-in sheets or
Can you show them? Yeah.
Sure.
So how many of you have been in command and seen your ability to create sites? Anybody?
No.
You have. So once you log into command looks a little bit something like this. On the left-hand side, you'll see the very bottom here, right now, applet is called, oh, this is different. Can't see it. Yeah,
I think it's down off your screen.
Yeah, I know what white.
And I can't get to mine either on my computer.
What are you looking for?
If you hit the shift and scroll down, I think it shrinks your screen.
Yeah, I'm scrolling down.
No,
Shift and what? You just go.
shift to do your little wheel on your mouse.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a very healthy database, everybody. If you're wondering, I have an 84% health score.
No heart attack on the horizons.
There it is. It's right below Insights. It's consumer. Okay? So consumer is where you do your app setup. So if you want to build your guide for your app, you do that there. So your consumer app that we're talking about, it's so awesome. Your agent site, and then this is a landing page. So what you do here is click create a new site. And I'm going to click as a standalone page, create a page. And then all I'm going to do is name this the address that I'm at. Okay, so I would call this like 926 West Sycamore. I would go over here and select lead form, hold it, drag it, and drop it. That's all I did.
So you created, you put the address on top.
Right here, I would put the name in it. All
The
right.
lead form.
Now, there's probably a whole lot more things you can do with this, but I want to keep this very basic.
Yeah.
Because here is what it looks like when I'm done. Let's see, changes, no. This is what it looks like. Simple. So if you have a laptop with you, plugged in, sitting on your table, when someone comes in, instead of doing a sign-in sheet, you can do this. Okay? They just sit on here, leave their stuff, click I'm not a robot, and hit send, and then guess what? I did this today. So I'm gonna go here and show you back to contacts. It goes in as a lead. So if I filter for leads only, you'll see that is a lead. I just made this up and put it in there. On that landing page, it's in command. Now what I would do is I would go in and edit this. And I would put them, I would add more information, create a tag, and put open house, right? Buyer or seller. And then you can do more with it after that. Create a follow-up plan from the open house, which we'll talk about after she's done. But that's awesome too. So do you guys understand how just creating that landing page literally took 2 minutes to do?
The other,
And it's specific. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to remember if it was Paula. I watched a video. What he did was he took the listing widget,
Yep.
put it in first, and then the sign up sheet at the bottom, so you can have the listing information at the top of the page,
You could.
and then,
Yeah.
I mean, it has to scroll down, but
Right.
it looks prettier, I guess.
I just wanted
I-
this. I just wanted that sign-in
I know.
sheet, keep it simple. I just wanted to walk in. Hey, could you just put your information here? Perfect. Then you don't have to worry about if you can't read their handwriting. It looks-
Oh,
And it's in demand, so it's taking one step away from you. That's what I like about it. So I just wanted to share that. Go ahead.
And everyone has different theories and ideas about sign-in sheets and how to get people's information. There are a lot of people who, agents, and I think every way works, okay? Every way is working and getting people's information. It's just, for me, I like to be genuine, and really connect with people. And I think that works best for me. But there are people who put signs up and say seller has requested everyone sign in for security purposes. There are people who have the sign-in sheets as soon as they walk in the door. Hey, do me a favor, sign in, and then I can give you some information on the house. All of those are different ways. The way I prefer to do it is to actually make a connection with somebody. I don't shove the sign-in sheet down their face when they walk in the house. I want to talk to them, I want to have a conversation, build a relationship, and then once I build that relationship, then ask for the open house sheet to be signed. My open house sheet specifically says, who is your agent? Not do you have an agent? Who is it? Real easy to just check, yes, I have an agent, and then really technically you can't talk to them, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to come up with a name off the top of your head.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I didn't see your hand.
I did up a sheet with 1 to 5 bubbles on it and asked different things about the house. So I actually have
Feedback.
a feedback form, and I hand them that, and then ask them to sign in, and I say, I just need this in case there are any follow-up questions.
Sure.
That works better to
Sure.
get people to put their info in.
Yeah.
Because they don't, and I've got mine set up where it says who's your agent too.
I like that.
The
It's
feedback
yeah.
part, because I like to give the listing agent feedback on the house.
Right.
It makes it easier for me to say, here, this is what they said, instead of me trying to summarize it.
Yeah. No, and that's fantastic. And I, as a listing agent, I love that.
Yes.
Do you have to ask if they've had an agent on that form? Like on that, you wouldn't have captured that information?
I can probably modify that. Those are pretty cool, easy to modify, create what fields I want in there.
Yeah, but is it necessary? Because I feel like sometimes more is.
I think it saves time.
It saves you time. Because the last thing you want to do is think you're talking to somebody who's not represented. Think, oh, awesome, I got somebody they're genuinely interested, they really like this home. You call them, you're having a conversation with them, you write a contract, and then they call you up and go, hey, do I need to talk to Brandy Massey about this? Because I visited with her about buying this home, and I signed some paperwork with her, and then you're like, ew. You look like you just totally tried to steal the client. You didn't, you just didn't ask the right question. So some agents, not Keller Williams agents, some agents they don't ask that question.
Obviously
because
not.
They don't want to know.
Mhm.
They don't want to know because ignorance is bliss, and they believe that if I don't ask, don't tell, I will find out, and then I'll just claim, nope, I'm not paying you anything. I didn't know that was a buyer agency agreement. That's between you and the buyer, and you can sue the buyer for that because I'm not paying you.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. We don't teach that here because it's unethical.
It's
You don't want to treat people like, you want to treat people like you want to be treated, right? So if you sign a buyer agency agreement, you would want somebody to know that. Now, the reason she puts the name on there is because when somebody walks in, one of your questions is, do you have an agent? What are they going to say?
Yes,
Why are they going to say yes?
they don't want you to love them.
Correct, exactly. So the correct question is, what's the agent's name?
A lot of people need to build that, like, I tell a lot of personal stories.
No, it's good. That's the best thing ever.
So me personally, I don't like big shopping stores or anything. I get anxiety. I like little smaller boutiques or whatever. White House Black Market is my favorite store in the entire world. I can walk in there and know that I'm looking for a black dress. That's what I want. I want a black dress. I've got something I've got to be at, and that's what I want. And I walk in and they're like, hey, how are you today? It's good to see you. What are we looking for today? you know, I don't know, I'll let you know when I find it, like, you know, I don't want anybody to help me, I want to look, you know, and then when I need help, I'll ask for it, right? It's the same thing when people look in, they're like, look, I'm just looking, if I need help, I'm gonna ask you. You know, you gotta build a relationship with people first. There are a couple salespeople at White House Black Market now that I know, I trust, I can walk in there and they say, what are you looking for? I'm like, look, girl, I gotta have a black dress, come on. You know, it's, build that relationship first before you start hammering after people.
Can I say something? I have tried several things. I have tried a tablet, just sign up sheet. It was working great. But the older people are afraid of technology.
Was it Open Home Pro or whatever?
Yeah. Then, and then I'm thinking the laptop, Mac, people are afraid of Macs, people that have regular computers. So I just have my regular sign up sheet.
Yeah.
And he has there, you're looking at shopping or buying but I do not, when people come into my open house, I approach it and start talking to them and start asking them questions. I mean, the conversation is leading to, I have an agent, I don't change my tone, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But, and then I do ask them, will you please sign up so my plan knows somebody was here and was my time? And I send them a thank you card.
That's good.
But if the conversation is leading to, I'm looking for a house and then I need to sell my house, I'm like, well, if you give me your email address, I will put you in a search, and as soon as a new house comes in the market, it will shoot you an email. And everybody's like, really? Yeah, it's great. And no obligation. And then you have a relationship there, but I just don't force everybody to. Some people, you know that they don't want to be bothered. Yeah. I don't even say don't sign. You know, I don't say don't sign. I just tell them.
Well, and I think that on that, you're right, but you're missing out a little bit. Because, again, I'm one of those people that walk in, I don't want to be bothered. I just want to look, don't talk to me. But if you build a relationship with me, then I want you to help me, I trust you. So the biggest thing for agents, whether it's open houses, meeting new clients, I mean, dealing with other agents, other vendors, provide value and show you're the expert. So if you're providing that value by having your CMA, knowing what other houses are for sale in the area, what other houses sold for, show you're the expert, they trust you, they like you, they use you.
You know, I guess you could have a sign-up sheet and a computer. You
Yeah,
know,
both,
whatever they feel more comfortable.
You know, for me, I'm looking at this and I'm not super techie, I don't love it. I love a nice piece of paper. However, this is a huge time saver for me. If you're actually going to take your contacts and put them in command like we're supposed to, this does it for you. You don't have to do it then later on, right?
And the filtering thing, then you know that you filter them, or your card, you do
Yeah.
cards and stuff.
So the only thing you would want to do is unmark this as a lead, because if you actually talk to them, you've had contact with them, now they need to have contact. If you don't check that lead box, then unless you filter for it, you're not going to see it, you're not going to follow up with them, they're not going to go on smart plans, none of those things are going to happen. We'll talk about that next.
So real quick, several of you have seen this before, but a couple of you haven't. So this is just an example of door knocking. So when when I started in June of 2015, I was a new agent and nothing else better to do, right? So I door knocked all the time. In August, so I had had my license about 2 months. It was like 110 degrees that day. I swear it was awful. But I had set my goal as door knocking 100 houses. At that time, it wasn't, my goal wasn't who I talked to, it was how many doors I knocked. That's changed. It was door knocking 100 houses, and I was bound and determined that I was going to do it. That was my goal, that was my plan, I was going to make it happen. So I started door knocking in this neighborhood. It wasn't the best neighborhood in the world either. You learn things as you go. And it was for an open house that I was doing. It was for Adam. It was over on East Grand. So like, again, kind of over east of Oak Grove-ish area. And anyway, I'm door knocking, and I door knock all day, and I just was so defeated. Like, I had handed out all these flyers. I kept going back to my car and driving to another neighborhood just so I could find like another 20 or 30 houses to door knock. Very defeated. But I get to my open house on Sunday, and the first person to walk through the door is this grumpy old man that had opened the door at one of the houses that I knocked. And I mean, he literally didn't even talk to me. He was so grumpy. He was just like, oh, whatever, bye. But I recognized him because he was grumpy, and grumpy old men are kind of my thing. Like, I'm married, right?
I was gonna clarify that, but that's okay.
And I also bartended my way through college and for several years afterwards, so grumpy old men are a challenge. If you can get the grumpy old man, he's loyal, very loyal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, grumpy old man comes in with his wife Jane, and they had a rental they needed to sell. They didn't know any agents, and I knocked on their door and gave them a flyer, so they might as well use it, right? So I listed their house. And again, this is probably something that I would leverage out at this point, which would still be considered amazing and they would still love me for it. But then I didn't have a lot of money. They needed help. This house was trashed. And if I was gonna list it and get good pictures on it, it needed to be cleaned. So I went over and helped them clean the house all day one day. Well, the next weekend they were over at the house doing something else right before we were listing it, and their neighbor across the street happened to be in town from Texas because they needed to list their rental house. And they recommended me to Connie, and I listed that house too. And then Connie had another house later on that needed to be listed, so I got that one too. Roger and Jane also had a granddaughter, Haley. They bought a house. Haley then referred me to her friend Kara. Kara bought a house. At this open house then, no, sorry, this one. No, yeah, this one. I met Tracy. Tracy, I got really lucky on because she came in and she and I really connected, and she was super funny and sweet. And she had her mom and she was in a wheelchair. I loved her. A little crazy, but I loved her. She wasn't ready to buy then. She needed some credit stuff and had to save up a little more money. And my bad, I dropped the ball. I never called her back. Made that connection with her, talked to her that day. She said she would call me. I never called her back. 6 months later, my phone rings. Hey girl, remember me? This is Tracy. Anyway, Tracy bought a house. Tracy then referred me to Jessica. Jessica referred me to Jennifer, her sister. She referred Amanda. Amanda sent me Brittany and Jackie. Jackie bought another piece of property too. And Mike. And then Amanda ended up selling the house that she bought. Oh, yeah, Jackie sent me Jody. And I think I've forgotten one in here somewhere. Anyway.
Amanda cashed in for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So it ends up being 16 pieces of property. I've forgotten one in here somewhere. It's kind of a big old bubble mess. But that one door knocking, my second month of being an agent, has gotten me so far. More will come. 16 closings from one day of door knocking that I thought was awful. And I hated everything and I know it. But you just never know. Now, along with that is also providing value. And a lot of these, first-time home buyer, 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 first-time, all first-time home buyers, that as long as I stay connected with them and we retain our friendship, they're going to sell and buy again. So anyway, that's one example. I've got more. It's not just, so.
Wow.
Sorry about my handwriting.
No, it's awesome. Do y'all understand kind of the steps here that you need to take?
Also, one real quick thing on open houses. That house always reminds me to tell people about this, because this open house was one of the worst open houses I've ever had. And I learned my lesson early. 2 months in, I learned this lesson. Security wise with open houses. Park on the street, do not park in the driveway. Ever, ever. Do not allow yourself to get blocked in. Okay? Always have a way out. Don't go down to the basement with anybody. Before you leave, check all the windows, check all the doors, and here's one you haven't thought of. Check the garage doors. Has Adam told this story?
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
So this open house, I actually held it open twice. The first time was when I got all that. The second time I held it open, it was steady. It wasn't super busy, but it was steady. It was a vacant house, but they had a bunch of stuff stored in the garage. Some people went in the garage, and I was talking to other people. I didn't think anything about it. They left the door open. It's not like they walked in and shut the door. I was in the kitchen. They left the door open in the garage. They went in. They were in there 30 seconds, came back out. The next morning, I get a call from Jane, because Jane is babysitting her granddaughter every day at this point, and they go on walks every morning. And she said, Brandy, the garage door is open at the house that you did yesterday. That doesn't look normal to me. And I said, no, sure doesn't. First thing I did, I called Adam. Then I head over there. The police were called. So what they'd done was they unlocked the garage door. They pulled the thing, the cord, went back that night, lifted the garage door, and took whatever they wanted out of the garage. They also stole the lockbox, which was really nice.
They're still trying to get that open, probably. Not having access.
Adam showed me grace, which I remember and will always remember. And so I try to do the same thing for other agents. Adam showed me grace. He paid the insurance claim on that, paid the deductible, and I learned a huge lesson.
It's a great story to get people to sign in.
That too.
I'm great. Sorry for your
Yeah, that
pain,
too.
but it's helped me.
So why would we show windows? Why would we make sure
Check.
windows, why don't we make sure windows are locked?
Same things, because they can come right back in.
Yeah, some people are literally looking for a place to live.
Yeah.
We're breaking two, one of the two.
Yeah.
So it's really your responsibility, you don't know that. But I hear all the stories because of my position. I hear about it when there's issues. So there's just a lot of things to think about when you got people walking around, or you can't be everywhere, you can't see everything. Your safety is the most important thing. So you need to think about that, do the things, all the things she said. You know, that's a whole other class that we just talked about.
I mean, literally to check the garage door, all you have to do is hit the button.
To come up.
Put it right back down. The other thing that I always want to say in these classes when we talk about like asking if they have an agent or anything, remember, you are doing this for the long haul. This is your career.
Mm-hmm.
Agents have long memories. Everything that I do is how will this affect me in 4 to 5 years? The way I treat people and the way people treat me. Be the agent with integrity. Sometimes losing a deal because you think that it's the right thing to do is going to be much better for you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Always lose that deal. It's not about money, it's about people. So, you know, my goal when I first started was I want to be the agent that people trust, and that is clients, other agents, lenders, whoever. So just remember that. Just do business with integrity.
Yep.
When you're holding an open house, how, I guess my focus is typically on talking to the people and developing the relationships, and I can't say that I pay a whole lot of attention to, I mean, people could very easily steal something at an open house that I'm holding. How much do you follow people around? Or-
If it is an occupied property and it's not my listing, because when it's my listing, I've already warned people, put away your guns, put away your medications, put away your jewelry, put away anything that is important to you. Right, put away, take it with you, whatever. I always warn people, if it's not my listing and it's occupied, I tell people when they walk in, I used to say used car salesman. That got me in a little bit of trouble one time, because some used car salesman who came in. So yeah, I was so embarrassed. So when people come in, I say, look, I'm not gonna follow you around like a little puppy. I'm here if you have questions. You know, but when you're going down the hallway, going in the bedrooms, I'm just gonna hang out here in the hallway, and you just yell at me if you've got any questions. They need to know that you're going to be in the vicinity. You don't have to eagle eye them all the time, but you're right around the corner. Like, people aren't gonna steal stuff typically if they know you're right there.
Yeah, the thing you gotta watch is people bring kids, and those kids get separated from the people. We just had an issue with that. There's a gun missing, and
My cell phone got taken one time. You wanna talk about panic?
Oh.
I set my cell phone down to go answer a question for someone, and the next thing I know, it's gone. I have no way to lock the house up, because part of my routine is always to open the door, put the key back in the lockbox and lock it up. Always has been. That way you don't take the key with you accidentally or anything. Nothing. Luckily, somebody else was there, and I was able to call my husband, and they did the Find the iPhone thing. And a kid had grabbed my phone thinking it was their parents. They didn't steal it. They just, yeah.
I think mine's sitting out every open house. I play music.
well, it's playing music, you're probably gonna hear music or stuff. Yeah.
Well, when they pull out.
Yeah. So I hope you guys got a lot of these notes here too, right? What questions do you have for Randy? The last piece I want to talk about is follow-up.
Yeah.
Tell me about things that you brought to the house. You said that you bring the CMA, you bring, I'm assuming that the MLS data sheet.
Disclosures. So basically, in my car, I always have a folder of a complete contract. So anything that you need for the contract besides the MLS and disclosures is always in my car, just in case. You never know. I've yet to have it happen in 5 years. With as many
It's going to.
houses as I do.
It's gonna happen.
But maybe it's because I don't care. I bring in MLS data sheets, I bring in disclosures, several copies of those. Utility information, if it's good. If it's bad, don't
Do
bring
you
it.
bring them as handouts, or you just have like one so they can look at it over there?
I bring a couple of copies of each. And then for my own stuff, I have just some copies of the listings that are active in the area, in case I need a reminder when people are talking about it. And means I'll bring a couple clothes too, just so I can have reminders, because I don't remember everything. It's always good to have, to have that information, and when they ask you, well, what the house across the street sold for, I'm gonna have that if it's sold within the last 6 months.
One of the things that Adam has told me that I thought was awesome, I've never thought about it, doing my own houses, but I have yet to use it like he told me. But like if somebody walks in, you're doing a 3-2 ranch or something, somebody walks in, they're like, man, I love this house, I just have to have a basement.
Yep.
Even if it's $20,000 more, bring comps that have a basement and say, oh, you wanted a basement? I have this one, it's almost the exact same house.
Right.
Except it's a basement, if you're willing to pay for it, I can take you there at 4:30, I'll be done here at 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have yet to have anybody take me up on that and meet me at 4:30, but, or the 4th bedroom, if it's a 3-2, I just need that 4th bedroom. Oh, I've got one right here, are you willing to pay just a couple, $10,000 extra for that 4th bedroom?
So Adam is actually an excellent open house teacher. That's where I learned a lot of the prep work that I did. Like, I learned how to deal with people and talk to people when I went to preview, but all the prep work I learned from going to Adam Brady's open house classes. And, if he told me to go stand on the corner you know, with
You did it.
by myself, I did it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's good. And he also teaches you to go preview other houses in the neighborhood and possibly set showings, so you can call a house that's similar, that doesn't have an open house, and call them and say, hey, I'm holding the open house down the street from you, and if they want to come see that at 4:15, are we good? Just get that already set. And then you can say, look, I'll text you if anybody wants to come see your house.
So the goal that they always say is in the follow-up, right?
Mhm.
So you hear what Brandy said she does after every open house, she does what?
You
2
call them or
hours.
text them,
2 hours time block, okay?
Depends on their age.
okay?
Older people I call, younger people I text.
So
Younger people won't answer the phone.
we now have in command an open house follow-up smart plan. I'm gonna show you how to get there in just a second. But this is a step-by-step process for over several days. It does a combination of phone, text, email. And if they don't respond to any of those, then you can just put them on a neighborhood nurture. Because if they give you their address, you always want them in your database as a neighborhood nurture bi-weekly. Getting that automatic email about what their neighborhood stats are. Because that's getting your job is to build your database all the time. So even if they don't talk to you right now, they don't return your calls and texts, doesn't mean you don't, oh, I'm dismissing them. No.
If you don't have their address, but you know they're looking in a certain area, put them on that one.
If you have their email, this is all dependent on their email.
Yeah.
If you don't get their email, you can't do any of these things. So the things you should always try to get with people is their name, full name, their address, where they live, or where they want to go, an email number. I wouldn't do their address in the system unless it's an actual address where they live, because you may end up direct mailing them and sending it to a house they're looking at. And then Bob Smith doesn't live at 926 West Sycamore. Actually, another lady does it. You know what I'm saying? I would be careful with that. Yeah. You can. You can do anything out of it.
Yeah, but is
You
that
can
part
do
of it?
It's not
Okay.
part of this campaign,
Okay.
but my point is
Yeah.
if you said, hey, I want to direct mail everybody in my database to invite them to an event, a customer event. Well, if you deselected them, you see what I'm going with that? That's why I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So you've got a step-by-step process here to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you in command. Right here, I would go over here to Smart Plans. Actually, before I do that, I need to go to Smart Plans and show you where these are. So these are my people plans. I would go to the library up here at the top and we'll scroll down and say, okay, I want to add open house follow-up. It's free. I definitely want to turn that one on 100%, right? Click Add Smart Plan right here. Okay? Now, once I've done that, I would go back to the contact. I'm going to go back and select lead only because I've never changed Bob over to a contact. I would go into his name, go into Smart Plans, add to a Smart Plan, and I would have right here would be if I selected, I'm not using open houses in my database because mine's agent focused on you guys, but I would put that in there. Just click add into the follow-up plan and follow the process. It's going to tell you everything to do on your home screen. When you log in, the next day you'll see a task. Oh, I need to call Bob. Follow up on that open house. Oh, I need to text Bob. 2 days later, it'll say text Bob. 4 days later, it'll say email Bob.
So do you have a list of scripts for that? Because I'm running out of stuff, there's 7 touches.
Yeah.
It has suggested things usually in Smart Plans. It has suggestions.
Suggestions,
For
okay,
what to say.
okay.
In
So if
some
we go
of
back-
them anyway, I don't know about that
If
one.
we go back to the Smart Plan, and go back to the library, and look at this one, and view steps.
View steps. Okay.
And then if you hover over it, touch test. Nice to meet you, the open house email,
It gives you ideas for what to say.
Oh,
phone call.
that's great.
So that's what I would do.
Okay.
The follow-up, the goal is in the follow-up. Most people, what do? Call one time, maybe text them, they don't respond, what do you assume? I love it when people keep following up with me because I'm like, they're good. They get it.
So what do you do whenever, you meet somebody in open house and they tell you, we're not interested right now, but I'll be, like within a year. So it gives you 7 steps, five, the follow-up in the first week?
I
So
would
do
put
you
those
still
on
do it?
different, I would put those on different smart plans. I wouldn't do an open house follow-up with them.
Okay.
I would do a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. I would do a quarterly call with them where I'm calling them.
Okay.
And then I would do, what's the other one? Maybe there's plenty of other smart plans you can put them on.
Okay.
What you're wanting to stay with. Here's what I'm also going to say though. And this is my experience. You guys tell me, some of you have been agents in your long run that I've been in this industry. But usually when someone tells me that they're interested and then they tell me a much longer date, 1 to 2 years, that's not true.
Right.
You know what that is? That's I'm here because I'm actually really thinking about it, but I'm scared and I don't know if I trust you, so I'm not going to tell you that I'm looking to move in the next 30 to 60 days. I'm going to tell you a year to 2 years off. Nobody does. Do you guys, if you're going to go buy a car, you walk on the car lot 2 years ahead of time, a year ahead of time? No, you're ready to buy a home. We sometimes take people at their word, and I've done this, trust me, totally done it with people. I'm not going to do that. I'm not moving for 2 years. Okay, well, I'm not going to call you. 2 weeks later, they're moving, and you're like, what? They told me 2 years. How dare them lie to me? All I do is call, follow up. If they're there, guess what?
You're interested.
They're interested.
So
Exactly.
this couple was, the open house was by Hickory Hills golf course, and it was Sunday, they were coming out of playing golf. They live in Nixa, they saw my Natchez flag, so they came in. And the started, oh, it'd be nice to move closer to the golf.
Yeah.
And so I follow up Monday, and she says, well, we were just, kind of gave us the idea of moving to Springfield, so that's what I want to put you, but I'm there, I didn't know what to do.
So you ask questions.
Yeah, I even asked her if you wanted me to do a CMA in their house right
No.
now. Let's see.
So that you're going right into selling.
Okay.
So what I want to do is help them self-discover what's unique about what made you pull into that house that day. Let's role play here, okay?
Okay.
You be the buyer, you be the seller, whoever.
I'm
I'm
the
going to be the agent,
Okay.
okay?
You're the
So I'm
agent.
calling you. Yeah. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, Liliana. How are you? This is Travis with Keller Williams.
I'm well, thank you, and you?
I'm fantastic. And it was so nice to meet you the other day at the open house.
Well, thank you, Sam, as well.
So I know you stopped in and looked at that house, and you mentioned you were still a little ways out from possibly purchasing a home. But I just kind of wonder what caused you to pull into that house that day.
To tell you the truth, is I live in the golf course, and I saw your flag, and thought, oh, so when we have time, and we just walk in.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you're obviously open to looking for a home
Yes.
because you came to an open house, right? So you're
Right, yeah,
actually
I see.
looking for some home. What would it take for you to make that move sooner?
I don't know, because we were not even thinking about moving. We saw the flag and we just came in, and we thought it would be nice to move closer to the golf course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your hesitation to move in less than a year?
We were not even thinking about it. So,
Never cross your mind ever once and just randomly all of a sudden that day you're like, oh, let's go and look at a house.
right.
You think maybe your brain was already thinking about that, and then it just maybe.
Now that you say that, maybe it was.
Yeah. My experience going on that I've found is that most of the time when people say that, what they're really discovering is it's been in the back of their mind, now it's coming to the forefront of their mind. So what's significant about waiting? What would be the reason that you would wait?
Really, there's no reason, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
just finding the right house, and like that house, it was too close to the other ones, so we want something a little bit farther, you know?
That's outstanding. So there's really nothing holding you back other than making sure you find the right home,
Right.
make the best financial decision. What if I told you a year from now the market could be higher or lower? Would that impact you at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what would you like for it to be?
Well, I'd like for my house to sell my house at a premium price and get a really good house, a smaller house than one.
So the market right now, if you don't know, is as good as we've ever seen. You recognize we have the lowest supply of inventory. I would love to come out and see your home and for no obligation, just to see what the home could be worth for you, to get you a really accurate projection of what that home's worth. And that's step one of any sort of investigation. I would love to come out and just help you guys explore what that would look like. Does Tuesday at 7 work for you guys? Or Thursday at 5?
Thursday at 5.
Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to seeing you Thursday at 5.
Thank you. I love that you just cut me off. Tuesday. Okay.
So what did I do there?
Yeah.
Anybody else, I've never done this. So it's,
Smoking.
what did you hear?
The pain was good. You finally get around to the market,
Uh-huh.
and well, what happens if it's not like this?
Yeah.
When you're planning on it.
So,
You built a little bit of urgency, you know?
yeah. So this is called the 4 quadrants. In coaching, we talk about this all the time. There's a positive, present. There's a negative present. There's a negative future and the positive future. Okay? You have to walk through the process with people in this order. And you cannot skip this step. If you skip the negative future, skip right to, oh, well, I don't like where I live. Awesome. Let me show you some homes. I can fix that real fast. You're a salesperson.
Mm.
There's no pain. What do we know about pain and pleasure?
Everybody runs away from pain.
Correct. So the thing I could have added on that is, what if 2 years from now your house is worth actually less than it is right now?
What was your negative present?
Negative present is they wanted to lead closer to the golf course.
She kind of said it.
She kind of said it. I already knew it.
Yeah.
So then I went to negative future is, hey, what if
Right.
2 years from now this home is worth less?
Yeah.
Also on those, I never called to confirm appointments. So
Just show up.
don't give them a reason to say no. Just show up. I had one, I got a listing one time from an open house. Told them I would run them a CMA, and I texted them or I tried to call them, no answer, texted them, they didn't respond. I went anyways. I just showed up and I knocked on the door, and they were there, and they complimented me on my whatever,
Follow Vegas.
Grit.
Yeah.
right, on my grid, and then I listed their house and I bought another one. So I don't ever, now with buyers, I always confirm that with listings. I just show up.
Big nugget right there she just shared with you. Buyers always confirms. Why do you confirm with buyers?
They're gonna waste my time.
Bushy.
Liars, which I know nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that, right? We're not supposed to say that.
Find yourself a job with a buyer. No, I'm just kidding. I know.
No.
Spoiled.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.